is a smart mousetrap. So in Europe, Netherlands, if you place mousetraps, you have to check the mousetraps every day to see if there's a mouse inside, because you have to clean it. That's regulation. So if you place mousetraps as a facility management company, you have to have somebody on site that checks the mousetraps. So let's make the mousetrap smart. So if the mouse is caught, the facility management system gets a little ping, and instead of somebody's walking through all the mousetraps, he can directly go to the mousetrap that is actually in need of cleaning. That means, yeah, you can imagine the HR business case that comes from that. You don't have to, doesn't have to walk to empty mousetraps. Something interesting here as well is that now you're also collecting the data. So probably the mice are in like one specific spot in the big building, and for the data you can do a root cause analysis and you can solve the problem altogether. Then you can ask yourself, okay, we have Wi-Fi. This whole building has Wi-Fi. Why shouldn't we just use Wi-Fi? And here comes the low power feature of LoRaWAN, because if you use Wi-Fi, you won't have somebody walking to see if there's a mouse in there. You will have somebody every week to replace the batteries of these mousetraps. If you lose LoRaWAN technology, you can make sure that this mousetrap runs on one battery for about 3 years. So that's just one example of what we did, of a LoRaWAN use case. So back to that hackerspace. I saw this technology and I saw this reach, so I saw 10 kilometers of range. That's pretty impressive for such a device. So I was imagining circles with a radius of 10 kilometers over the city of Amsterdam. I thought, okay, if I just get 10 of these gateways, then we have the city pretty much covered. So crazy idea. So yeah, that was the idea. And then I met up with Johan. Johan is an internet entrepreneur. Johan is over there. Hey, internet entrepreneur in Amsterdam as well. And we met up for coffee, and that was just pitching this crazy idea. I thought, okay, he thought as well, hey, this is something interesting. Let's do that. And then we went to a hackerspace in Amsterdam, where it's around 100 people, and we pitched the idea of making a crowdsourced Internet of Things network. So we thought the internet was created by separate networks all around the world, private networks, and all of a sudden they started connecting these private networks, and it became a whole. So we're actually building our idea was to building a real internet for things. So why don't we just do the same thing? Why don't we ask people to build local LoRaWAN networks by purchasing these gateways, and then put them all together as one network? So we had some ideas about that. There was a group of 100 tech people, and what we said is that our mission with the Things Network is to build a decentralized, open, and crowdsourced Internet of Things data network, all owned and operated by its users. And we were just validating the idea. Like, was this just a crazy idea, or was this something they found interesting? And a day later, me and Johan were meeting with a community of 10 people that said, this is so cool, we want to contribute to this idea by making open source software that realizes this initiative. So there was this initial validation of that people also find it interesting and were excited about this idea to build this Internet of Things data network for Amsterdam, which was in the summer, and it was all volunteers' work, so we had a lot of fun. So the tech team, led by Johan, did a feasibility study, and they found out the technology was capable of building a decentralized network in this way. But it's still, that's very abstract story until now. It's very raw, like decentralized IoT. So we needed to convince people in Amsterdam to buy these gateways. But we needed a better story than just building a community-based IoT decentralized network. So what we did is we thought of a use case that was very applicable to Amsterdam. In Amsterdam we have canals. There's a lot of boats there, and they always end up with water because it rains a lot or because there's a leak in the boat. So what we thought is we make a detector, a water detector for the boat. Boats in Amsterdam, you can put it in your boat. Once the sensor detects water, it sends an SMS to the owner. And if you reply to that SMS, clear my boat, a service in a boat comes by and removes the water from that boat without your involvement, just with a single text. And it really was speaking to the imagination of the Amsterdam people. And within 2 weeks, we had this set of companies in Amsterdam that say, okay, I'm going to buy this gateway of €1,000. You're going to make sure that it's one network, and then we will have a low power wide area network in Amsterdam created by the citizens. And interesting here is that it was not only startups and internet companies, but also Deloitte, KPMG. They were very interested to be part of this, but also the Port of Amsterdam, which is an industrial company. They were very interested as well because they have a lot of data connectivity problems in their terrain. There are solutions for their sensors to connect to the internet, but they're very expensive, like doing 3G with their mobile subscription, mobile subscriptions, etc. They were very interested as well. And 6 weeks after Johan and I told the story to that community, this was the case. So we covered Amsterdam in 6 weeks. We had a small conference. It was all in the news. It was in the newspapers, on the radio, because the citizens of Amsterdam, without any government involvement, created an Internet of Things data network, and they actually empowered and enabled themselves in this way and in this short period. This was very interesting, very mixed audience, entrepreneurs, hackers, even the TV crew came in to record our presentations and our launch. And the thing we did that day as well is that we told the world what we did, and we invited everybody to join us through this video. Imagine an Internet of Things building a global, crowdsourced, open. So that was we put on our website. We had a lot of media coverage, so that story spread pretty well, and even very good in the IoT community. So IoT meetups, IoT communities all around the world started to approaching us and said, yeah, we want to do it as well. And the good thing was, it was very easy for them to do that because we didn't hold any IP. We open sourced everything. We made available the brand so they could also show up as being a part of the Things network. And we got directly, with one day, somebody from Sydney said they want to do that. And we got somebody from Buenos Aires, Boston. We got somebody from Sao Paulo, Cape Town, Kochi in India. And all these applications started streaming in. So what we decided to do is make a community platform where they could manage their community and show the status of what they of their own network. And we got 2 points of feedback from the initial group of communities, and it was that first of all they found €1,000 as a group of hobbyists a lot of money. And second of all, these gateways that we're using require quite some technical knowledge to install. So they said we want to have a cheaper equipment and we want to have more user-friendly equipment. So we joined up with a product agency from the Netherlands, and we said, can we build such a device? And what we did is actually build a device according to these requirements. So a gateway of $200, and that was plug and play. So just hook it up to your internet, and then it provides the Things network coverage. And what we also got back from the community is that it said, we want to build prototypes, we want to build use cases, we want to see what we can do with the network, of course. So that's why we developed 2 different development prototyping devices. A Arduino, probably familiar, that has a LoRaWAN chip on it, so it can connect to the gateway, but also a sensor box with a development device that already has sensors, so you can directly start prototyping applications. And we had this growing community Yeah, so at that moment, I think we already had like 30 cities around the world that were actively involved in this initiative. And so we tested it with this initial community, and we got very positive feedback on this product. But still, I mean, it was still just a project and a crazy idea, and we didn't have any capital to start the development or even the production of these devices. And luckily, you have a Kickstarter, and that's what we did. We launched a Kickstarter campaign here on the crowdsourcing week, the global crowdsourcing week in Brussels. It was October 21st, and we told our entire community that was eager to get their hands on these products is that we're going to launch it that day. And yeah, the first day was amazing. We had 30,000 euros crowdsourced and pledged in 1 hour. In 1 day, we had almost 80,000 euros. We met our Kickstarter goal, so the 100% in 8 days. We eventually ended up, after 30 days, almost 300,000 euros, which accounted for around 1,000 gateways, which we're going to ship July this year, which will increase our network a 100-fold at that moment, which is actually going to be a very interesting moment for us, because then it's actually the real launch of our network. What's also very interesting for us, as for Johan and me as social entrepreneurs, is that we got validation that it's actually people are interested in this idea. You can have a great idea and somebody can tweet about it. I mean, that's free. And thanks for the compliment, but can we build a business on top of that? Somebody pledging 300 euros for a gateway and a development device, that's some real business validation. So we were very happy with that as well. And that's also when we decided to take it more seriously. In the Netherlands, we're very prominent. So this is the coverage in Netherlands that we expect to have when we launch the products. We had a lot of media coverage, news here on the Next Web. We were on The Verge. We won the Internet Society Innovation Award. We kept growing. We kept getting applications of cities that want to embrace this initiative, use the open source knowledge, use this open source code to build these networks. This is a city, this is a screenshot of a map I just made last week. These are all the active communities around the world that are involved and are working with groups of people to make these citizens-based networks. This is just a few of them running through. Just local people are engaged with IoT, love the idea, love the self-empowerment, love the fact that they can build a IoT network without an ISP. We announced a 100 community last week. So this is a few of our current statistics. And we also have a very active community in Tehran, in Iran, at the university. And they have got something to say for you.
We think an open and crowdsourced network.
So, I mean, you can imagine how much also joy we have in just seeing all these people around the world just copying and embracing your ideas. For instance, guys from Brazil, they made even a little video for themselves, making T-shirts during meetups. This is guys from Buenos Aires. This is also one of the gateways, one of the type of gateways we support. People in the community. This is actually my hometown in the Netherlands, making all kinds of use cases. So, for instance, in this case, it's a bike tracker, getting data from cows. This is a project we're just engaging with. This is Safecast from Tokyo. And they are a crowdsourced radioactivity data network, and they have sensors all around Japan measuring radioactivity through by citizens. And for them, it's very interesting to use the Things network because they have some sensors that they want to connect to the internet, and then this data can be transferred over the Things network. This is their radioactivity meter. This is in Oxford. It's a community-based water level measurement system. People hang these devices under bridges. This data is collected in one system, and they can predict floods. And it's so cool to see that people take matters in their own hands and just want to control their own environmental data. This is a startup we're gonna join with. They make small battery marketplaces. So and they deploy it in India. So it's a small town. The shop there will have these blue batteries. The shop charges the batteries. You can buy the electricity there. You get the battery when it's empty. You put it. You bring it back, and it's charged for you again. They want to know the status of these batteries, and they want to know that not only when it's being brought back, but also want to know it when it's with their customers. So we're helping them out as well. We're doing an anti-poaching case with parks in Africa. We're doing smart parking. So for the Port of Amsterdam, we're making sensors that you can put in the ground that are actually measuring if there's a truck standing there, so they can manage the traffic for the port better. So we see all these kind of use cases, both citizens, but also business mission critical use cases as well. And that means that we've grown so fast that from a crazy idea to a project to an organization. So after the Kickstarter, of course, we needed to reorganize a bit, so building a company around it, building a foundation, a non-profit organization on top of that as well. And Jo and I were discussing in December. So okay, people are enthusiastic about these networks. It's still about building a network, but in the end, it's about creating value on top of the network. It's what you do with it. Now it's just a technology push. So we said, okay, our mission for 2016 and for 2017 is that we're going to help our community in making use cases, but making it very easy for them to make use cases. So for us, everything is about developer friendliness and developer friendly tools that enable them to make this use case and to create value, to make your living environment better, to make your business process more efficient, or to leverage more business opportunities. So that's next. We do that by being a lot of events. We were at South by Southwest 2 weeks ago, doing a lot of developer conferences, workshops. We do them for events, but also for businesses. So all kinds of things. And we created the Things Network Lab. Officially, we're going to launch that in 2 weeks. But what we did is we defined 5 key components which you need to build your own low power Internet of Things data network. And that's the thing. So that's a device. Usually it's a sensor. It's a combination of something that measures something. So a sensor, a bit of logic, as a small computer chip, a battery, and a piece of a chip that transmits the data over the network. Then it comes up with the physical network, which are the gateways. Then it ends up with the virtual network, the routing of the data, and then eventually it ends up with your app. And based on this structure, we're gonna write a lot of content, manuals, do workshops to explain how to make these use cases. So so here we are. So for you, if you find this interesting, so how do I get started? So if you're a developer, I would advise to go to our website and sign up for the after orders for our Kickstarter. Get your hands on the hardware and buy this equipment and start building your own use case. We're going to put a lot of manuals online with funny projects, and because we use Arduino, it will also be very easy to use other Arduino projects to make your own use cases. If you want to contribute as an open source developer, we're still looking for all kinds of developers that want to help us in testing, coding, etc. So if you're a business, it depends. If you have a business with a problem yourself and with a data problem, and you can solve this with measuring it with sensors, and you now know that the costs are very low. So 200 euros for a gateway. Think about 20 euros, $20 for a sensor. You can, if you have this kind of challenges, you can of course come to us, but you can also just read the website and be inspired and go to your local IT provider. If you're an IT provider, this is a very big opportunity in IoT. You see that app building, web building is becoming a commodity good, and IoT is really a field where you still can distinguish. So as an integrator, you can use all the tools of the Things Network, and I would advise to get out to your customers and see where their data problems are, or do workshops, trigger their imagination on to see where you can use these technologies, and of course build prototypes. The story is best told by just giving examples of what you do. If you're a city, if you're involved as a citizen, if you want to do something for your city, maybe even if you're of a government, you can go to thethingsnetwork.org and you can sign up as an initiator of a city, so you can be the lead of a city. And what we're doing now in Amsterdam is that we are building a consortium of government, businesses, citizens, and developers, that we all together build this, because we started as a citizen initiative, but we truly believe that the complete community consists of not only the citizens but also the government and also the businesses, the small businesses, large businesses in a city, as well as the developers. So yeah, we invite you all to participate and to join and to contribute, and more information you can find on the Things Network. So I told you about how we went from a crazy idea to a small project in Amsterdam now to something that's going global, virally global at the moment. The Things Network, we make cities smarter, and even better, we enable the citizens of a city to make their city smart. Thank you very much.